You were born with a sense of well-being, a really strong sense of well-being, but not practiced control of a vibration. You came to practice that vibration and to explore enough contrast to launch new desires. But the specific answer to this really good question is that when you want something good to happen and it doesn't, you try to, after the fact, explain why. And a logical sequence of thoughts leads you to believe that there must be some outside force that is preventing you from the good that you know you want. Because your logic tells you, if I am good and if I want good, then shouldn't I be experiencing it? And if you aren't, then your logic says then there must be someone, something that is interfering. And then as you look for that, you prevent the good from coming. And the more you prevent the good from coming, the more you look for that. And the more you look from that, the more you prevent the good from coming, until you convince yourself with the facts of the absence of the good that you're looking for, that there must be some source of darkness. So it takes a little while to reorient yourself back into your true understanding of well-being.
And
hold your thought, because our friend earlier was a wonderful depiction of something that we want to emphasize here in a dramatic enough way that you can all really feel it. When you really, 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 really want something that you're really, 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 really not getting, then you have to explain it in a really, really, really big way. It's sort of like that. It's sort of like that. And here's the bigger piece of that. Since every one of you is source energy, and when you get crossways of that, when you describe yourself as not good, or as not deserving, or as not worthy, when the source within you knows the complete opposite of that, the goodness and the possibilities and the worthiness, when you get focused there, there is a big discord that then you describe in really screwy and dramatic ways. That's the best explanation that we've ever given of that. And when you think about how illogical that is, how could that be? How could this earth continue to spin in its orbit? Have you looked around? Have you noticed the well-being that surrounds you? The continuity of things? The eternalness of that which you all are? You know, as bright as you are, you haven't managed to scrape enough dirt together and launch another earth into orbit. You know there's something way bigger going on. You see, and when you get crossways of your understanding of the goodness of that bigness, then it's a pretty big, our friend described it perfectly earlier, that kind of bouncing out of the vortex will take you to your knees. Your fear is the indication that you're clinging to something that the source within you doesn't cling to. In other words, the source within you holds steady to the knowledge of your brilliance and your goodness. And when you find a thought that is contrary to that, fear is the resulting emotion. So it's not that you're clinging to fear, it's that you're clinging to ideas that defy what you really know. And clinging, let's use a different word, law of attraction, is helping you maintain those, because when you activate it, you're getting more like it. When you get more like it, you observe it. When you observe it, you get more like it. So an understanding of how things work is where your freedom is, isn't it? Since words don't teach, don't you want to try some thoughts that feel better and then watch how the grid fills in? That's the only way that you're ever really going to know for sure. Because you can't take anybody else's word for it, because you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what their vibrational point of attraction is, other than by the evidence of what they're living. So how can I live in a world where there are things unwanted that I might observe? How can I not let those obvious, observable things affect my vibration? And we say, the only way is by caring about how you feel enough to then contour what you're willing to observe. And once you start making the correlation that if you observe it, it's active in your vibration. If it's active in your vibration and you continue to observe it, it's going to become active enough that the grid's going to fill in with it. And when the grid fills in with it, it doesn't mean that there's something outside that's filling in your grid. It means that you in your sloppy gridding, it means you in your sloppy focusing, it means you not using your guidance system in the way you intended are practicing vibrations that are perpetuating and keeping things going that you don't want. You see, it's so lovely once you get this, because then everything that everyone's living makes sense, because their conversation equals what manifests. And you want to say, well, don't talk about that because it keeps equaling what's manifesting. And they don't believe it. They sort of believe, like you were talking when you first sat down, they believe that there's outside things that are happening that they need to fear and guard themselves against and protect themselves from. And so there's this philosophy that if I can push hard enough against this thing I don't want, that I will be able to obliterate it, and in its absence there will be well-being. Except you can't push hard enough against it, because the more you push on it, the more you focus on it, the more you activate a vibration, the more you create a grid, the more that comes to you. It's so liberating to finally get control of your own grid. And the only way you get control of your own grid is by making the association between how you feel when you're doing the grid work and then what fills in. And once you start making that association, then you're liberated. Then you can deliberately choose a thought. And we know sometimes it's hard to let go of those practiced thoughts. Beliefs are powerful. Beliefs equal your point of attraction. When you believe it, you're offering a steady vibration. And the reason you believe it is because you're offering a steady vibration. And since you're offering a steady vibration, the grid's filling in with it, and that's why you believe it. Isn't it interesting? So wait, do I believe it because it is, or is it because I believe it? It is because you believe it. It is because you believe it. And a belief's just a thought you keep thinking. So if you've got stuff happening that you don't want, then stop thinking it. But Abraham, I believe it. Well, stop it. The only reason you believe it is because you keep offering the vibration of it, and the law of attraction just keeps saying, well, this is what you believe, so here, have some of this. And this is what you believe, so here, have some of this. Is it hard to believe that you could change your beliefs? Or have you shown yourself that you can soften a vibration, that you can offer a different vibration than you offered before about something? What trips most people up is that they want a circumstance to change so that their belief can change. And we want your belief to change so that the circumstance can change. And we know that the fastest, most effective way to change a belief is to deactivate it so that it stops producing evidence that you focus on. And in the absence of the evidence, you have a chance to focus on something else. And that's really what going general is. So, what do I do, Abraham, when I live in a world where there are so many people that are guarded against so many things? Well, don't be upset about them being guarded. Try to understand it. Well, they don't really understand the law of attraction. They don't really understand their point of attraction. And maybe I can demonstrate through the power of my example something different. And every now and again, someone will notice that things are different for me, and they might ask. And if I'm doing my grid work effectively, they will ask, and they will ask in an atmosphere of openness so that they'll hear what I'm saying. Words don't teach, but life experience does. So as you move through life, not guarded, and demonstrate well-being, then it might get someone's attention. But whether it does or not, you're free of the fear and the things to push against. Nothing ever comes into your experience that is not active in your vibration, ever. Ever. Is the grid making sense to you? Do you accept that you have a point of attraction that you have some measure of control over? Do you believe that there are things in the vortex that are precursors to manifestations that are all queued up and just waiting for your readiness? Do you understand what preparing your readiness really is? Do you think that you have to work your way into readiness or chill your way into readiness? Do you think that you have to plan your way into readiness or meditate your way into readiness? Do you think that you have to work your way into readiness or play your way into readiness? Is it about tension or is it about ease? Struggle, tension, effort, or is it about fun, relaxation? Fun, that's a really good one. Fun, flow, pleasure, allowing, joy, balance, simple, relaxed, trust, faith, knowing, ease. So where's effort in that? Where's playful in that? Where's work in that? Where's ease in that? Where's trying? Where's letting? Where's allowing? Sort of getting what we're talking about? Effort, not so much. Allowing, relaxing, being. We were focusing energy. Because focus, and we're only going to talk for a minute and then we're going to let you talk. Focus usually sounds like zeroing in, getting more specific, and that kind of focus is really fun when you're really in the flow. In other words, the more in alignment you are, then the more focus, specific focus, really serves you. But focus, unless you're really in alignment, doesn't serve you. So then you want to focus general rather than specific. That's what this little run was about. It was about focus, but it was about finding emotional words and giving attention, which is all focusing is. Let's choose a word. Someone said fun, and that's a good one. Let's take a little softer one. Ease. Just hold the idea of ease. Ease. And when you think about ease, fill it in with other words that remind you of ease, like relax and easy and soft and gentle and what else? Trust, letting go, comfortable. Now you're focusing. You're focusing. And it seems to most people like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. But this is the work. Because you were born, you have seen, you have explored, you have experienced the contrast, you've given birth, you've put it in the vortex, it's in the vortex. Now it's time to prepare the environment that allows what's in the vortex to flow into your experience. And so start with that feeling of ease. Now, as the momentum begins coming and you stay in the flow, now you will be inspired. This is what we really want to say to you. If you can find that place of chilling that allows the stuff to start moving from the vortex into your grid, as it moves, the specific focus will be part of the process. In other words, you will be inspired to the specifics that allow the momentum to continue. It's like when you jump out of an airplane, you don't have to worry about keeping your speed up. Or when you're on an incline, you stop pedaling usually. Or you let up on the gas a bit. You get a sense of what we're talking about.
Yes.
So if you trust, that's a good word, if you trust that what you put in the vortex is there, and it is, and now you are using your focus to focus yourself into enough ease that will allow the momentum to begin. The momentum will carry the rest. And something like focus or impetus or speed is not part of the process. You don't have to keep momentum going. That's what we want to say. You don't have to keep momentum going. You just have to stop doing that thing you've been doing that slows the momentum. There.